Well, guys, I think the Wizards have finally done it. I think the Wizards have finally broken their fan base. Now, the Wizards have been bad in the past. It's nothing new. But I think what really hurts is the fact that the Wizards bamboozled the fans into thinking that they were actually going to be a good team this year. They started off 10-3. It was number one in the Eastern Conference. A lot of Wizards fans were hyped and whatnot and cracking jokes. We all knew that being number one wasn't going to last and standings were correct. But you were hoping that the Wizards were still in that, like 6th, 5th seed range by the time the standings corrected, and they were competing because that's the trend that they looked like they were going on. But as the season wore on, the defense fell off, the offense improved, but the defense fell off. Earlier in the season when they were 10-3, they were a top defensive team, but a really bad offensive team. The players, the veterans have complained about the offensive roles, the offensive scheme. It's been a consistent thing. Now can you say that the lack of defined roles for guys, and Bradley Beal said it himself, agendas, right now they're just going off the agenda of being ass right now. They're doing that. They're pushing that agenda really well so far because they look trash. But, when you talk about the expiring deals and the trade deadline coming up, all that can be very true. But I think the end of the Bradley Beal era is upon us. And I don't mean the end of the Bradley Beal era in terms of Bradley Beal won't be a part of the Washington Wizards anymore. I do think that Bradley Beal will ultimately re-sign with the Washington Wizards, and I do think he will stay with the Washington Wizards. It's tough to turn down that money that the Wizards can offer him. And the role that he wants to be in, which is a guy with control of his team. So I do think he will be back. So when I say the end of the Bradley Beal era, I do not mean it as far as the end of his tenure with the team. Because, I would like for him to be traded. I think it's just a smart thing to do at this point and just blow it up. This franchise, this front office has done a terrible job throughout this whole process to try to build a contender with Bradley Beal as the head of the team. It's been terrible. But when I say it's the end of the Bradley Beal era, I just think Bradley Beal has lost the whole fan base. I don't think Bradley Beal has many defenders left. And if you were a defender of Bradley Beal, the play as of late has just taken all of that away. Seriously. If you weren't a proponent, if you weren't pro rebuild, the Celtics game, the Clippers game, and then the Grizzlies game, those 3 games right there, I guarantee you have flipped your mindset into blowing this thing up. Everybody over the age of 23 years old can go. And I don't blame them. I think fans have no faith in Bradley Beal anymore. He won't be an all-star this year. And then when you look at the contract that he's going to be owed in the offseason, and you look at the direction of the team, logically it just doesn't make sense to give Bradley Beal that money, man. Give Bradley Beal that money to do what? Be an average team again for the next 5 years? Logically, it just doesn't make sense, man. The Wizards have not been able to show that they can build a team around Bradley Beal. They have not been able to show that they can build a competent team in general. They have refused to do it. Not even refused. They just have not shown the ability to do it. So you sign Bradley Beal and the fans looking like, okay, now what? Are we still going to be mid? Just like we are now? And I think Bradley Beal as a player has just failed to galvanize the Washington fan base like, let's say, a John Wall did. And once again, I do not say John Wall to say his era was any better. I'm not saying John Wall to say he was such a great player, because he had his flaws, and trust me, the fan base was on his head too and was ready to get him out of the door as well. But as far as a fan base, I feel like he galvanized the franchise and the fan base. They really loved John, etc. That's why fans still talk about bringing him back at this point. Now, Bradley Beal has failed to do that. He has failed to do that, in my opinion. And you look at games against the Grizzlies, 9 points. You look at games against the Clippers where he's cool but not good enough. And Amir Coffey and Luke Kennard outplay you when you're supposed to be the best player on the court. You have been consistently being outplayed by Donovan Mitchell's, the Zach LaVines, the Kyrie Irvings of the world. It's just a really bad look when you got a Supermax contract coming up in the offseason and you can't even make the All-Star game. You can't even be top 10 in Eastern guards, counting all of the votes. Players, media, fans. It's bad. It's a really bad look. And I think that Clippers game really solidified it for folks that this team is cooked. I think the Grizzlies game really hammered it in. I think it hammered it in because you lose a 35-point lead after getting 51 put on your head by Jason Tatum, and in your own arena they're chanting his name and giving him standing ovations when he re-enters the game. Next game, you blow a 35-point lead, second largest comeback in NBA history to a team with no Kawhi Leonard, with no Paul George, sitting a lot of their starters because they weren't playing well. And then now you have multiple days off to rake up, recollect, not completely embarrass yourself, and you go out there, you bench Daniel Gafford, which makes completely zero sense. I don't know what the Wizards are doing with that situation. It's pathetic. It's embarrassing. I don't know what the front office and Wes Unseld Jr. are trying to do here. But you bench Daniel Gafford against one of the best rebounding teams in the NBA, and then Steven Adams embarrasses you on the offensive boards, and John Morant embarrasses you as a team, and Bradley Beal puts up 9 points, and he's supposed to be the best guy on this team, and it just looks bad. It looks no better. They give no effort. They do not care. It's just, if that game can't wake you up and make you play better, nothing will. I'm sorry. Absolutely nothing will. I don't know if they've given up on the coach. I don't know if they've given up on the team and just went rogue and said, I'm about to do my own thing. But this is bad. It's time to blow it up. I think the Bradley Beal era is over. The fans are over Brad. The fans are over this team. And the fans are over this organization. And they would rather be bad watching a bunch of 18-year-olds to 19-year-olds and be looking like the OKC Thunder or the Detroit Pistons or the Houston Rockets and try to build towards the future instead of trying to make themselves believe that they can be a decent team, which the Wizards are doing currently. Trying to make themselves believe that they are a decent team, which they are not. And they keep trying to, trick themselves into believing that they are. And that's the issue right there. You would rather know you're an upcoming, rebuilding, bad team rather than a middle-of-the-pack team who you think can be decent, but you wouldn't be surprised if they're bad either. You got to pick a direction, and I think everybody's at this point is ready for the direction to be rebuilt, blow it up, see what you can get for Brad, see if you can get some picks or a nice young player, Tyrese Halliburton, who some fans felt like Wizards should have drafted in the first place. But in my opinion, man, the Bradley Beal era in Washington is over, whether he's still here or not. I don't have any faith in the Washington Wizards organization for the future to build a contending team. They haven't shown it in any of the past eras since the 70s. They haven't showed it with Arenas, Karan, and Antoine. They haven't showed it with John Wall and Brad, and they haven't shown it with Brad. So what makes me think they will show it anytime in the future, 5 years down the line? It's time to end it, man. The fans agreed to blow this thing up. Let the young guys cook. Denny, Rui, Corey, etc. And continue to build and see if you can get a stud and try over, because this is terrible. This ain't it. Another year, another failure. Another year, another joke. Wizards didn't want to be a play-in team this year. Hey, you looking like you'll get your wish. You won't be a play-in team this year. You won't be a playoff team this year, it's looking like. So congratulations. You can't be average in a deep Eastern Conference this season. That's all I got for you guys. Let me know in the comment section how you feel. Do you feel similar to me and the rest of the Wizards fan base? Do you feel differently? Are you willing to keep trying to do this and go on this path with Brad? Or are you done? Just like me. Are you rather see the young guys and see what they can do with a rebuild? Let me know in the comment section. As always, guys, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.